Hello and welcome to the July 24th, 2018 edition of AstroEnergy Astrology. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and we are having a lovely morning today. It is 79 and expected rain because that's all it does here in the Sunshine State. I'm getting a little tired of it, can you tell? Anyway, you get out in the morning when it's cool and it's not raining, and then you get your stuff done, and get out in the afternoon, and you got to bring an umbrella. But, everything's green. It's like super, super green. Anyway, enough of that. Although weather, I have to tell you, weather is an Aquarian thing, severe weather, I should say. And we definitely have some severe weather energy in our charts going on right now. But first, let's talk a little bit about the moon. So this week we have a lunar eclipse, we have a full moon, and a blood moon. Do I know what a blood moon is? Not particularly. It's probably when the moon is, you know what, I'm not even going to guess. I've talked about it before, but I honestly have no retention of it. So I guess I could look it up real quick for you here. I know what a blue moon is. Blue moon is the second full moon of the month. So if you didn't know what that is, that's what it is. So let's see if we can find out what a blue moon or blood moon is. Magic. I think it's actually when it's close to Mars, but I'm not totally sure. Don't miss this week's blood moon. Yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time trying to figure it out. If any of you, anyone listening knows, you can put it in the comments. I've got the chat room open, so just go over there. I just don't want to waste time, doing research on the show. I should have looked it up before the show, but I honestly didn't think about it. So anyway, if I can find it at the halftime, I will do that for you and let you know in the second half of the show. Anyway, so the full moon means a culmination of energies. And, generally the moon waxes and wanes, and it takes about 2 weeks to go from new to full, and then 2 more weeks to go from full to new. And a new moon is the one that you don't see in the sky. It's the one that is pretty much obscured by the sun. The full moon is the one that's opposite the sun, so that we have the two bodies in the heavens, and the moon is reflecting the light of the sun. So when you have a lunar eclipse, it means that Earth is going between the sun and the moon, and it is casting a shadow on the moon. A solar eclipse is the moon goes between the sun and Earth and blocks out the sun. Anyway, we are having a lunar eclipse. So we are going to, it isn't even in the U.S. as far as I know. I think it's going across the southern hemisphere on the other side of the world, although don't quote me on it. I know it's bad. I don't do all the geology stuff necessarily. I just, I'm an astrologer, not a geologist or an astronomer. So I do try and get that information for you, but today, obviously, I was not really prepared to give you those particular details, but I can tell you about what the moon does to us, because that's what I do. And the moon basically affects our emotions. It affects events. When the moon comes across other planets, it brings a sense of connection to being the mother and the nurturer. And so when the moon is full, it affects our the water in our body, because it affects the tides. So it isn't surprising that when the moon is full, we are kind of at peak influence for the water in our bodies to the moon. So that is pretty much, in my humble opinion, why people go a little bit lunatic at this time of the year, at time of the month, excuse me, because we have this enormous energy pulling on us. So this time, it happens on this Friday, July 27th, and it is at 4 degrees Aquarius. And I'm just looking it up here. The exact time is 4:20 p.m. Eastern, 1:20 p.m. Pacific, and that would be 9:20 p.m. in England. So we will be influenced in the area of the zodiac where the moon is when it's full. And in this case, it is in the sign of Aquarius. So the thing that makes this even more special, because we've got the blood moon, we've got the eclipse, but we also have the moon conjunct Mars, and Mars is retrograde. So not only is it conjunct Mars, but it's going backwards. So it's trying to teach us something from the past, something that we've done before, and it's bringing an awareness of people, of family, of the collective. And I can tell you, Moon Aquarius is very much about the human family, because Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian, and the moon obviously is mom and family and rules the house of home and family, which is the fourth house of the zodiac. So when these two bodies come together, they bring the story together of, well, Aquarius is humanitarianism, but Mars is males and masculine energy and drive in our life, and then the moon is home and family. So you've got a couple different stories. You have the personal story and the collective story. So the personal story means that there is something going on with mom around the family, around the house, and an unusual energy, the eccentric, the eclectic, things that are unexpected or independent. Things can be quantum around the home. So I have Aquarius ruling my particular house of home and family in my chart. And so every time there's a strong Aquarian energy, I want to either move or change the energy of my home. That it is very much about keeping it different, keeping it new and fresh. And so, when you have that energy, that's what you like to do. You like to organize and, change it up, because it keeps everything fresh in our lives and in whatever house that particular energy falls for you. So it can also make us more entrepreneurial or aware of our need to be independent. And so if it, like, for instance, age appropriateness, if it falls on the cusp of home family, then that's where you will experience the need to be a little bit detached, to move on. I'm sorry, my daughter, you hear that noise in the background? My daughter's texting me, and it's through my computer. And I told her I'm on the air, and she's in Minnesota right now, so she's going, oh, I thought it was at 11. Of course, it's 10 in Minnesota. So anyway, I apologize for that. So you feel that you need to be more independent or change things up or move things around and do something unique and different. And so with the moon joining Mars, that's one of the energies we can feel personally. Mars going retrograde means that the energy we have put forth in the last few weeks, because Mars just went into Aquarius and now it's going backwards, so it's going back into Capricorn. So let me just see here. I actually today, because Mars and Aquarius can also create anomalies with electronics, I have got no ephemeris, because the online ephemeris, well, I do have an ephemeris. I have my planner and I have my regular book, but normally I go online and use the one online, and they're doing some kind of renovation of the site, so I have no access to that today. So I have to look it up manually. I hope you'll bear with me. Okay, so Mars went into Aquarius on the 17th of May and went all the way to 9 degrees and then retrograded and was at 6 degrees the first week of June. So we may be feeling energy that we have to redo something, something connected to our business, something connected to our money situation. And I also have something connected to business/money going on that is not working appropriately right now. So it's very interesting. But it will affect our electronics. And when the full moon goes there, it brings a collective awareness, because even though the moon is a personal body in the sky, it can connect us to mom and personal family. It also connects us globally, because when we all look up in the sky, that old saying, like, we're all looking at the same moon. So the moon is that giant attention getter and body in the heavens that we all see. And so when this is happening, and also because it's an eclipse, we're going to have that particular awareness in the news media, in the stories that come out. And so it really adds to the attention that it's getting. In Aquarius and with Mars, we are collectively wanting a shift of some kind, wanting the change. We want to shake it up. And going back, it means that we're dealing collectively with events that have affected us as a collective. And America, that usually means Donald Trump. So it is going to involve that. I think it's honest. I will touch on it a little bit because I touched on it last week, but it's like it's reaching this beyond fever pitch energy, that everything that's being done, because Mars is acting in retrograde and on his own, so to speak, and Mercury is now out of bounds, meaning Mercury runs in advance of the sun. So it's not following the sun right now. It's actually out ahead of the sun. So the things being said are being said as braggadocio, and this can also fall in your own chart. But in Donald Trump's particularly, it falls within like 6 degrees of his Pluto on the horizon, right above his rising sign. So it's even more intense. And having the sun just now into Leo, it's going to be exacerbating this energy for all of us, so to speak. Today it falls right on my midheaven and my Venus, so it's affecting me a little bit, but it's also falling just in the early degrees of Leo. So it's kind of like waking us up to, oh yeah, I haven't had much attention lately. I haven't connected to others in a deeper sense. And that's really the insecurity that Leo can give. And oh gosh, I have to sneeze. Hopefully I won't do it. I'll just keep talking. Maybe it'll go away. Anyway, we have this energy in Leo. So we have the North Node at 5 degrees. We have a 1 degree Sun, and we have 23 Mercury. So of course Mercury is going to retrograde this week, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and it retrogrades tomorrow in the Pacific time zone at 10:02 p.m. and it retrogrades at 1:02 p.m. Eastern, and that would be 6 a.m. in the UK. So we've got all this energy coming, so much energy, all in this concentrated area of polarity between Leo and Aquarius. And so not only do we have the Sun at the North Node, we have Mars at the South Node, retrograde joining Moon. So it's this intensity. I mean, I don't even know how else to say. I mean, I would say intensity-wise, unless it's, say, Scorpio planets, Mars or Mercury, not Mercury. Why am I not getting this? It's got I've got the glyph of Scorpio in my mind, but it's not translating. Pluto and Scorpio will definitely give us this intensity of feeling, but having these events so clustered and strong in the sky right now, it is going to be very eventful. Look for things that affect us collectively and as a humanitarian energy. It is also an initiating energy for what's to come with Pluto and then Saturn in 2019-2020 timeline, because that's when Saturn moves into Aquarius. And let me see, I'll give you the exact dates on that. So yeah, the 22nd of March 2020 is when Saturn moves into Aquarius. So that's not very far away, and a little over a year. And or actually, yeah, almost 2 years. Oh my gosh, I swear, this is like a very stuttered sounding show. I apologize. My brain, for some reason, is kind of in a fog. I'm not really sure why, because, that's why. I'll tell you why. Venus is at 15 and Neptune's at 16. So we've got a direct opposition between Venus and Neptune, and my personal Sun opposite Neptune. So that's probably the reason. It's going to be a few years for me because my Sun's at 17 Virgo. Neptune's within 1 degree of a direct opposition. So I apologize if I do occasionally get that little flakiness going on. But anyway, So the full moon will affect us in all these ways I've said, but also because it's on the south node, north node axis, it means that we are bringing in energy of the nodes of fate, which means very strong, life-changing energy and awareness of something that's deeper that we've needed to deal with from the karmic past. And South Node in Aquarius relates to the collective. It relates to higher understanding because Aquarius, again, the sign of the genius, is about clarity, and it understands in ways that no other sign does, is mental clarity. And so when we have the planets line up with this Aquarius axis and the Aquarius South Node, it is about how we see our life and our collective consciousness. So having North Node in Leo, North Node actually, historically, the way I interpret it is that it is an energy that if we transmute the South Node negativity or energy that we brought in from the South that we tend to be very enmeshed in and dogmatic about, so we don't want to change it, we eventually figure out what it is that we are resistant to, and we can transform and transmute that energy. And if we use the North Node, we can express it better. And it's not necessarily comfortable for us, the North Node, but it is a node of fortune. It brings in good things. And so having the full moon, meaning the sun is opposite the moon, we are going to have this polarity going on with the North and South Node, with the sun and the moon, and sun and Mars. And so the sun can, especially the sun in Leo, can be very masculine energy, and it means that the male energy is honestly in deep conflict right now. We have the ego, and the ego sun is in masculine sign, wanting to get attention, but also wanting to connect in some form and relate to people. But it's opposite Mars, which is the traditional masculine planet, and it's an Aquarius, which is the sign of attachment, but also the sign of the collective versus the one-on-one, the me energy. So Sun in Leo is the me energy, and Mars typically is the ruler of Aries, me energy. In Aquarius, it can't be very comfortable because it is about giving up the ego and acting on behalf of all of us. So with Mars retrograde, again, I read that more as a restrictive energy. It's not an expressive, free-loving energy, which is Mars in Aquarius. Aquarius just wants to move about and not be told what to do. Mars retrograde tends to tell people what to do, or at least act on behalf of itself more than when it's going direct. And it is a communicative sign. Aquarius, because there's so much information coming through, it can be very chatty. And retrograde, it may pull in a little bit when things don't go the way we think they should, like when we take action in our lives and then it's kind of stifled. That's Mars retrograde. So again, add the moon to it and we're going to throw tantrums. And I do think that this is a strong potential for a tantrum of some sort coming up. And it does relate to mothers. It may mean that there's something that comes up that a mother or mother figure is associated with, or aggression against a mother figure. It is, the moon rules water, but it is in an air sign when it's full. So it expresses out through steam, which can also honestly increase what's going on in Hawaii with the lava and poisonous gas. Aquarius is a sign of poison and chemicals. And so, well, actually, it depends on what kind of poison. Traditionally, Pisces is poison, but I personally, because of the chemical connection to Aquarius, I also assign like chemical poisons to it. So Mars, again, taking action. So this could be an event that includes a chemical spill or possibly transportation or taking action of some sort. There are actually even multiple I just want my brain to act from my mouth to get the information. it could mean that the expression, I'll just change my words, expression of it can come out in different ways. So it won't be just necessarily one event. It can mean that we are going to have a strong storm cycle through the country. Of course, that's been happening anyway, but with the moon there, it can increase the amount of water associated with it, so it will be flooding. And of course, the moon being near Mars, then going on to Pisces in a few days afterwards, is also a water energy, and the moon will still be somewhat full by the time it gets to Neptune. So it's still another week, I would say, of strong flooding or storms. When the moon gets to Aries, that's when we get more fires and heat related things. But in the Aquarius / Pisces area, it's going to be storms and water. So today we have the moon at 20 degrees Sagittarius. So it's about education, it's about expansion, spirituality, travel, fun, and being a little bit lighter. So hopefully I'm not too dark and deep for this. And the moon today is just past a square to Venus and just past a square to Neptune. So earlier today it rounded that T-square between Venus and the moon and Neptune. So it is feminine energy, it's feminine cycles, and it could also mean transition or transformation of females in our lives, that there's something going on that may shift the awareness or shift the story around learning or spirituality or anything that relates to education. So, and music too. I want to say music and comedy actually are also pretty strong under Sagittarius. And so, women in music, women in comedy might be affected today with this energy. We have, let me just going around the chart now. So I hope, I know a lot of waiting are probably going to ask how the full moon is going to affect you in your charts, and that's fine. So we'll talk a little bit more about it in those readings that I do in the second half of the show. So I'm going to move on to some of the other planets today. We have a trine between Uranus and Saturn. Saturn is retrograde, so it's with okay, I get you, Mars. You don't want me to. So Saturn trining Uranus is in an Earth energy. So Saturn in Capricorn and Uranus is in Taurus. It is about the details and the structure of the material world, and it is kind of a backpedaling of authority figures. So Saturn retrograde wants us to go back over, and like I said before, Saturn direct can be very responsible, even beyond its own realm, for other people it doesn't have to be responsible for. But going retrograde, it can act more frivolous and carefree and not particularly interested in being responsible, and it wants to just get its way. It can be very frustrating for us having Saturn retrograde, because it means that we are not going in the direction we want to go, which traditionally, if we move forward with things, they're going to go well and things get done. But Saturn retrograde means things are not getting done because we have to go back over them and understand them better and understand what they mean karmically and karmically, which is kind of like a spiritual term, but I mean like cause and effect. Like, so something, you do something, you get the effect. What effects are we getting from the actions and the desires that we have? Are they working for us? Is the traditional way of interacting with people, not even traditional, but habitual way we interact with others, really getting us where we need to be? And because Saturn is about structure and life purpose, it has to do with, are we getting those needs met? Are we achieving our life purpose? But because it's a process, Saturn direct, Saturn retrograde, Saturn direct, we are having to go back over things that we thought were settled. And so it can be frustrating right now. And in trine to Uranus, while again it is a positive ultimate outcome, we have to go through the process. And the process may mean letting go of something that we had desired and something that has traditionally been there for us but isn't necessarily working for us anymore. So we're feeling very frustrated and probably not secure, because Saturn in Capricorn looks for security, but retrograde in trine to Uranus is about things that are unexpected that we did not know about, that are coming up in our lives, and information that we are gathering. So Uranus and Taurus is making us more aware. And again, this is a fairly new energy. It just went in within the last couple months to Taurus. So it's lighting up the truth and the energy around money and desire and couples. So having Saturn moving closer and closer to a direct hit with a trine to Uranus means that what we thought was something that we could deal with and live with as an energy, we're finding more and more is not what we thought it was, and it isn't really necessarily going to be in our best interest. And a good example of this, and I admit I'm a Bachelorette watcher. I've gotten into it many years ago, and my daughter and I do it religious now. And so the Bachelorette had to make a decision over who she's going to be with. And when the planets were direct, that's when she made her decision. As Saturn retrogrades, that decision's been made, but the person she chose may not be the person that she really connects to. So that's kind of an example of the expression of this energy. So it's like when it happened that Saturn was direct and then Uranus went into Taurus, they haven't really had a discussion while Saturn was direct. That'll happen later on in the year. The first discussion they've had in Earth is retrograde. So that means that they are now coming together to discuss what's going on in our lives energetically, in the material world, in our relationships. And it means that we're going to go back over what we thought was good, and maybe it isn't what we thought was good anymore because Uranus is giving us new information. So we see that happening. Let's see, within the day, let me give you the time because I do that. So Moon goes into Capricorn actually later today at 5:49 p.m. Eastern. And so then it will be conjunct Saturn and trine to Uranus. So this is also another really strong energy. I mean, the moon is really, really triggering a lot of stuff because it's now going into the area of the sky that Saturn and Pluto, Mars, and Neptune are in, and then finishes out coming around again to Uranus. So pretty much the majority of the slow-moving planets are in one half of the sky, with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus in the other half. And so right now the moon is only a couple days into the half with all the larger, stronger, slower-moving planets that truly uproot our lives in larger ways. So the moon is really having a field day with these energies. So Saturn will be triggered tonight, and that is a deeper emotional awareness of a connection to a boss, a father figure, or a government official. And it means that we are feeling more sentimental, more emotional, and somewhat more protective of our feelings around what's going on. And it can be a difficult energy coming in. I don't really like talking shows have a lot of these difficult energies coming in, but I can tell you they are here for our growth. And if we look at the fears head on, then we can integrate them and get the lesson quicker and then move on to the benefit that we get from that. So because the moon is joining Saturn, it is also in positive aspect to Uranus. So we are gathering more clarity and more information from going back over a situation related to career, related to our father figure or our father, or any authority figure in your life, a boss, or the head of an organization or a situation like a meeting or anything like that, someone in charge. And then, of course, having Leo 1 degree is in conjunct, which is 150 degrees away from the Saturn-Moon conjunction tonight. And that will be also more connectedness to the father figure and the energy of ego and not getting our needs met per se, or if we are more in our ego, we're going to have more of a difficult time with this energy. It means that we've got mother-father energy coming in, parent-children, and also the structure of the family life and basis for how everything moves along. So this could also mean money, joint finances, because of the connectedness of father-mother in this, and what goes on in the family life and the family structure. So we've got Pluto today at a trine to Venus in Virgo. And I have to tell you, I am having some interesting energies coming in right now because I'm feeling kind of lightheaded, a little bit floaty, and a little bit tired. So I'm not exactly sure what just over to me, but definitely feeling some strong energy going on right now. And yeah, so I'm going to wrap up this a little bit. Let me look and make sure that I've told you everything. So Mercury is going retrograde, and I'm going to give a little bit about Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde in Leo means that it's about family, children, friends, connections, friendships, romance, and playfulness. And it's also drama and people who are celebrities. It can also include royalty because, Leo, Lion, the sign of royalty. So as Mercury goes retrograde, it can mean that people also in authority, the leader, because it rules leaders, will backpedal the conversation. I think we all know what that means for America, but and our leader, but it is about the communication aspect and hyperbole. Definitely look to where people have been saying things that are superlatives or hyperbolic because it's an enhancement of conversation and communication you see under Mercury and Leo. And we also have a square energy by sign to Jupiter with Mercury, which is the energy of lies and, well, more so fraud, but, exaggeration of truth is more accurate than straight out lies, but it is exaggeration of the truth. And using the truth in a dramatic way or using your version of the truth to connect to others and to try and seem larger than life or bigger than you are. And so we see that energy. Now Jupiter is direct in Scorpio, so Jupiter knows the truth, and you can't get it by Jupiter in Scorpio now. It's just not going to happen. Maybe when Jupiter was retrograde, there was more stress on having to own things in a certain way because it acted more restrictive. Jupiter going forward expands the scorpionic energy, and Scorpio is very deep digging and knows the mysteries, knows the truth. So I would say with Mercury going retrograde, that is also an energy of having to own something you said, something that was hyperbolic and an untruth or an expression that was exaggerated. And then because there is a lot of male energy floating around now that is kind of being taken to task, may find some more scandals going on. And again, it's like royalty, actors and actresses, and leaders in this energy. Also, Jupiter in Scorpio rules people of other countries, so there could be something going on with people of other countries taking the leader, and it could go both ways. So we may say something that takes a leader of another country to task for what they've done, or vice versa. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that up and take a break. I'm going to go look at my blood moon so I can tell you on the other side of the break. And then we will take calls, and I look forward to talking to you. So. All right, welcome back. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and you are listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show on Blog Talk Radio. So on Blood Moon, and I knew this already, I guess I just didn't register it, is when the light of the sun is split in the spectrum when it has a full moon, and there's an eclipse. It's an effect of this, what they call a supermoon, which is when the moon is fairly close. And anyway, there's a term called Rayleigh scattering, and that basically gives a filtration of the sunlight and shines only the red on the moon, and it's actually caused by the Earth's shadow. So anyway, there you go. That's a blood moon. Yay, we solved that mystery. Okay, so I'm going to, let me see. Did I have something else I wanted to tell you? I thought I did. I want to give you an update. I've talked about a book I've written in the past, and I sent it away to a publisher, and I'm sure that they have a very large backlog of reading, but I haven't heard back from them yet. And so I'm going to continue to look for a couple publishers, but I'm going to have this out before the end of the year, one way or the other. So either person publishes it or I will myself as an ebook. So I just want to let you know I haven't forgotten about it. I haven't forgotten about you. And as far as classes are concerned, it is also on my list to do. It's just been really busy with a number of different other projects, and the summer mean that my children kind of rise in priority. And my son just got his wisdom teeth out yesterday, so I've been tending to that. And my daughter is on vacation coming back today, so I'm excited for that. Anyway, I just wanted to check in and let you know that these projects are there and will happen soon. Just haven't heard back yet, and it will happen. So that's all. Anyway, let's just take a call. 208. Hi, 208. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. Who am I talking to?
This is Penny.
Penny, you said?
Yes.
Okay. You're a little bit choppy, but we'll see when you talk a little bit more. Maybe we can get it cleared up. Give me your birth information, and we'll do your chart.
Okay. So it's 5/1/69.
Okay. And where were you born?
Preston, Idaho.
Okay, is that Crestin?
P is in Paula.
Oh, Preston. I'm sorry. Okay, that's fine. I got it. Idaho. All right, great. And what time were you born?
Sorry, did you say year? So 1969.
What time were you born? Okay.
Do you know what? I'm not sure.
Oh, do you have morning, evening, 5, 6, 7? I mean, in a rough vicinity or no?
I morning, and I would say 7-ish.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah, that's about a sunrise chart anyway, so it's probably going to be pretty close to what I would have said anyway if I had just done a sunrise chart. So what can I do for you?
So I was just wondering about money.
Okay. Yes, we all are wondering about money, aren't we? So,
yes.
Moon in your house of joint finances next to Vesta is the thing that jumps out at me first. And that means joint finances are travel or expression of playfulness or education. So, and also your money can hinge right now more on a partner or one of your parents per se. It might be helping you more. Saturn is also in your house of joint finances. So that's one of the places you can find money, or one of the places that you're having difficulty. You have the moon right now is 2 degrees off of Vesta, and Vesta is, again, the woman who's maybe difficult for you, and I would tend to say it could be mom. And then the other part of your chart that shows money is, well, it is connected to money, but it's not your money house. It is the 12th house. And for that, you have Saturn in Taurus, and you have Sun in Taurus in your 12th house. And that's the house of the subconscious. And right now, Uranus is right on your natal Saturn. So it just went over your Saturn and is at 2 degrees. So what that means is you are having this strong awakening of a life purpose that is associated with intuition or connectedness to a vision or a dream or something that you may not. I mean, it's kind of difficult having Saturn in the 12th house, I'll be honest with you, because Saturn is your life purpose, but in the 12th house, it's rather obscured, and you may not always know what to do with the energy. And it's also a little bit difficult because your Saturn in Taurus is very grounded in earth and materialism, but in the 12th house, it disperses the materialism. It wants you to look at a higher understanding of your connectedness to the material plane. So having Uranus right on your Saturn, Uranus is also kind of a precursor to that Piscean energy of the 12th house, because it's the ruler of the last house before your Pisces house, and that means it's awakening you to clarity. And in the 12th house, it's about clarity of connectedness to spirit or information that comes to you specifically from esoteric means. Okay, do you understand that? Do you understand? It's basically telling you that there's a drive and desire to do something on your own, and also you are being guided. If you utilize faith, you're being guided, and it can bring you amazing fortune if you trust your intuition. That's what that whole story is about. It's learning clarity of connection to spirit and trusting intuition for your life purpose. Now, Saturn in Taurus usually is about money, materialism, like I said, or connecting to beauty and aesthetics. So it could be anybody in the fashion industry, anybody in artistic endeavors. But Uranus is saying, yes, you need to do those things, the material world, but you also need to bring in this drive of connectedness to the energy of understanding and clarity that comes from something bigger than the material world. And it also drives you to be more independent and autonomous. And right now, I would say it's probably bringing you to a point where you just want to be on your own and you just want to have your own money and your own thing. Is that what you're feeling in your life? I mean, I think a partner is really honestly where you're going to benefit in making your dream happen with your career.
A partner is, you said?
Sorry, bad connection. Say it again.
So the partner, you said a partner will be helpful or not?
Yes. No, you have transiting Saturn in your house of, in the house of commitment from a partner. And Saturn's retrograde right now. When Saturn goes direct in September, that's going to be a really great time to have a strong partner. And it could also mean your father figure or a parent could help you out and be like a financial partner for you to make your dream come true. But definitely there's more strength in getting a partner in the last part of the year. So I'll tell you more specifically, in September, middle to late September, it's really going to come together more for you. So I think right now, specifically for you with your Saturn at early degrees of Taurus, Saturn retrograde at 4 degrees of Capricorn is affecting your career and making you go back over where it's been and what's going on financially. And because Saturn's in the house of joint finances, it is affecting you around connecting to someone else. But I can tell you that house it's about deep psychology. It's about understanding your own personal motivation and your connectedness to your parents as a source of income. So even if you aren't still taking money from your parents, there's a dynamic of how you relate to money and your own personal value in the marketplace that is associated with this transit. And so It's really asking you to go back over what you truly want, know that this is a temporary thing, what's going on, and that, the temporary part is the having to review it, but the permanent part is when Saturn goes direct and you've made a shift of your belief system and you're good to go and you're done with the old story. So that's what's going on with Saturn right now, and it will be in positive aspect to your natal Saturn. It goes direct, and it will really push you to do what you're looking to do. Okay. So what is it? What is it you're looking to do?
But one of them is I developed an empowerment program for
awesome.
just for people, and I had it copyrighted and everything so that it can go out. So that's one thing I prompted to do like 4 years ago. But also, I have an opportunity for insurance for people to actually make a lot of money back and be covered. So I just don't know where to go. I'm like, I don't know which route to take.
Okay. Well, insurance for sure is a very strong connectedness to Saturn and Capricorn in the 8th house. That's insurance, just straight up, because it's Capricorn rules the organizational structure, and the 8th house is documents like insurance or wills and things like that. You have Mars at your midheaven, and your midheaven is ruled by Aquarius, and Aquarius likes multiple careers at that position. So when you say I don't know which one, my answer to you is both. So don't keep trying to decide which one. You're going to have both. You're going to, I mean, and definitely right now with the Saturn and Capricorn, like I said, insurance is strong, and both are retrograde right now. So you're like going back, and this is exactly what I was talking about. You're reviewing, going, no, should I do this? I was really strong with it. Now I'm not sure. That's what those two energies are doing to you. It will all work out. It will come out in the wash, so to speak. And yeah, September is a strong month because Saturn goes direct and Mars goes back into Aquarius at your midheaven. So it's retrograde at your midheaven now, making you go back over it. But when it gets there going direct, that's when the action's taken. Saturn going direct, that's when the action's taken. The structure comes together, actions are taken, everything comes together. It's going to be big. Okay.
So do I hold off and tell them like to go out and share it with businesses? Do I hold off till then, or am I okay to go right now?
As an astrologer, I would, only because I know you're chomping at the bit. I totally get this energy because the Mars it's affecting the opposite cusp for me, so I completely get that. Like, I just wanted to move forward. Now I've got to be on hold. You don't have to necessarily do nothing, but know that whatever it is you do has a strong chance of having to be done over. So, you know,
so
I'm
just supposed to sit back and kind of chill for now and just kind of get my connection, my inner connection, and just kind of be
really
for now.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, you're really meant to go inward, especially with career, having your planets retrograde. It is, and because when Mars gets back into Capricorn, it's in your house of education. So it is like a final thing that you're learning how to do before you move forward. So when that happens, I would say, okay, what is it that I didn't see structurally to get this business the way it needs to be that I need to now take care of? Because it is about the learning process. And really, I always see the 9th house as like training. And so there's something that you are not completely trained in that would really be helpful to what you're going to do. And I just got chills when I was talking about that. So I know that this is the part that you need to understand about this retrograde. Okay?
Okay.
So it's going back over the old so that you get all your ducks in a row, and I don't know why duck imagery is so big this week. I've been thinking about the duck terminology all day. Anyway, ducks. Okay, so but get your ducks in a row, and maybe you'll end up running across a duck today. Who knows? So,
that's funny.
I know, right?
My other question, so what about fatigue? Just like tired, just like literally just can't even function with tired.
Oh, me too. Seriously. I mean, that's Mars. Mars, and also there's the moon is squaring Neptune today. So that's like Neptune and Pisces. Pisces is the sign ruled by Neptune. Neptune is dreams and sleep, and it's just like having the moon square to Neptune. It's like I'm exhausted. I think that's what it is. And it's also on your natal Mars. So the moon on your Mars, moon again, watery, dreamy, squaring Neptune, a watery sign. It's like just hit by that intensity. Mars retrograde in Aquarius can be that way too, because Mars direct in Aquarius is like, hey, let's go, we're popping, we're going fast. And Mars retrograde is like, oh, nothing's going the way I expected it. It's just a lot of going on in the sky. And the moon is huge for the next, like I said, the next week. The moon's going to be hitting all the slow planets. So you're going to be kind of slowing down, taking it easy, pulling within, hanging out around the home. So, yeah, that's part of it. All right.
Okay. That's easy for me to do. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. Take care.
Your time.
Okay. Sorry, I think I may have cut her off there. Okay, well, let's go to 561. Hi, 561. How are you? Is this James?
Hi. No.
Oh, hi. Who am I talking to? Oh, Stacy? Hi, Stacy. I've got you too. Sorry about that.
No problem.
What can I do for you today?
It feels like I'm in a whirlwind, and I have major attitude.
Oh my goodness, yes. I'm not surprised. Again, the moon, and also, you can tell I'm having my struggles too. Mars retrograde in Aquarius, yeah, that's the anger. Anything when there's a strong energy around Mars, and especially this week with the moon, it's just going to be like the story is pointed, so to speak. In other words, that it's very intensified. But you, oh my goodness, you have a 5-degree Leo rising, which means the full moon and the lunar eclipse and the sun and the Mars and the north node and the south node are all sitting on your horizon. So, yeah, that's big. That's like self and others, drive, connectedness to people. It's a big week for letting people go and being ready to get that story out. Oh my gosh, and you have transiting Uranus at your midheaven, because that's square to Mars right now. So that's also at your midheaven. And I could go on and on. Your chart's got a lot of stuff going on. You've got the moon and Vesta on your sun today. You've got Pluto on your north node opposing your south node. Yeah, you poor thing. You've got Jupiter coming up on your Mars. So lots of stuff going on for you. A lot of deep emotional shifts going on and transformation and transition for you. But I can tell you the end of the year is going to be better and much more positive and happy for you. You've got the Jupiter over Venus and Mars in home and family. So, of course, that's going to make you very aware of how your psyche has been affected by family members, specifically like it's Venus and Mars, so it can be mom and dad, it can be brothers, sisters, but so that kind of covers everybody in the family. But the fact, and then also have Mercury there, which is siblings. But when Jupiter gets to Sagittarius in November, it's more about the siblings or a specific thing probably, and also about moving on and freedom. And I think things are going to be working much better then, because Jupiter will be the playful energy come in, and the transient and the freedom-loving energy, and it'll hit your Mercury and your Neptune conjunction, and that's going to be much more like ready to take off and be free and do your own thing. So you won't be as anchored down to the family story, which you've been most of the year. Jupiter going into Scorpio last year hit your home and family house. And then as it goes through, it triggers all 4 planets, Venus, Mars, Mercury, and Neptune. But 2 of them are in Scorpio. So those are your story until November. And so it's about taking action. It's about realizing that the action that you've taken has been very rooted in deep emotions and psychology and the dynamic of the family. But as soon as Jupiter gets past those degrees into Sagittarius in November, and I'll tell you when that is, because everyone's like, well, when? Jupiter goes in on the 9th of November into Sagittarius. And so that whole month is going to be an expansion and a transformation for you around the family. And really, I see travel, more open communication, and you'll probably be much more ready to just say it like it is to family. Jupiter is starting to say that right now. Jupiter will say things like, Jupiter inclines us to say things that are probably more of a punch to the gut because it's in Scorpio, which means they see right through all the BS and straight to the heart of the matter, and emotional connections. So when you speak up, you're going to say, this is the emotion I'm feeling. And it can, if you have fights because of, the conjunction of Jupiter to Mars, that can be like, I am so over you. It's like a family fight and very emotional. But when it gets to Sagittarius, and it's on your Mercury, when it gets to Sagittarius, that is also communications, but it's more blunt and it's more thoughtless as opposed to purposely hurtful. So you're going to be, communicating with family members at that time, but it's really in an effort to be done with the old story around the hurt that you feel from the family. And it is a transformation for you to actually move on and make your dreams come true, because Neptune is the last planet in your house of home and family. It's at 5 degrees of Sagittarius, which means it's in positive aspect to the lunar eclipse coming up, and like to both Mars and the moon, and to the sun going on in the sky during the eclipse. So it's pretty big for you around family, and what happens for you this week is going to be a precursor to how you're going to transform and move on from family energy and not be as attached, because Mars and Aquarius wanting to take action for personal freedom, whereas the Sun in Leo is about children and connectedness one-on-one to the romance of the situation. Mars Moon is going to be about getting rid of the old story and being free from what's going on. So that's a lot to take in, okay. I know, but that's what the story is. So you're on the path. If you can just make it through this week, it's going to get a little bit easier for you. But you still do have some deep emotional stuff and clearing going on within your family. Does that make sense?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I hope that helps. But I'm at the end of the show. I'm going to take more call. But thank you for the call.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye. All right, so 760, who is this?
Hi, Shelley. This is Orion.
Hi, Orion. I nailed it. I had you in my database, and I said, I think it's Orion. And I was right. So what can I do for you? Yeah.
Well, I was hoping to see if you could tell me about what I can possibly, what you could possibly see coming up for me.
Okay. The show's technically over, so I'm probably going to keep the reading fairly short. So is there a specific thing you want to know about?
Maybe just what you see in August with the whole eclipse energy.
Okay. Well, August is a month of Leo, and that's your career house. So for you, this is all affecting career, creativity, getting attention, getting the kudos you need, and also detaching from, again, for you also, some people in your family, because Mars in Aquarius, it is about the dynamic of dad. You have Pluto in Capricorn just inside the house of home and family. And so that's transformation on the psychology associated with dad. And then the sun in Leo with the North Node, it's about getting the attention you want, because that falls in your Capricorn house, the 10th house. So it is about getting the attention you need and cutting off from the old story where you may be the eccentric or the unusual child in the family, and that may have not been supported per se completely, but you're going back over those things, and that's what you need to really get to the heart of. And August, again, with all the eclipse energy is hitting you in your authority figures and family and career. That's really the focus of what this particular eclipse is going to bring out for you, and more clarity around how people treat you and what your place is in the collective. And for you, having Aquarius in your home and family, that's part of your story for your career, because how we express ourselves in our career can be colored by how we were accepted in the family unit. And so you're going to be getting more to the heart of the matter on those issues with family members. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Call back another day. Take care. Okay, that's the end of the show. I am sorry for those who called in and I didn't get, but please do call in early next week, and I will get to you then. And I hope you have a great week. Batten down the hatches, back up your computers. And the last thing I want to say about Venus in Virgo is she can be very self-aware, or, how you can be kind of like self-conscious. It's a very self-conscious energy right now where everything you say and do, you feel like exposed and you feel like everyone's criticizing you. Just know that that's there, and really give yourself some slack and know that it's okay to be who you are. And take care. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly.